is another edition of your program, Testimony Time, on Osrc Television. It is a program that showcases individuals who have overcome significant challenges in our society. In the rocky hills of Idori, where the sunrise painted the mountains gold, lived a young boy named Adesom Oyeremi David. His childhood was not easy. Born into a humble home, he often went to school barefoot and sometimes returned with an empty stomach. Many nights he studied by the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, determined not to let poverty dictate his future. Life threw more challenges his way. At a tender age, people whispered that he would never amount to much, but he held on to his faith. He found strength in prayer and hope in the word of the Bible he borrowed from a neighbor. As he grew, he faced rejection, setback, and moments of deep discouragement. Yet, he never gave up. He believed that every trial was a stepping stone to something greater. He worked odd jobs, sponsored his education little by little, and never abandoned his calling to God. Years later, that same boy from Idori became a pastor, a voice of encouragement to many. His story of perseverance inspired the young and old alike. Where once he was mocked, now he was celebrated. Where once he was overlooked, now he was sought after for counsel. His testimony became a shining light that no matter how rough the beginning, with faith, resilience, and determination, the end can be glorious. Today, Pastor Adesom Oyeremi David stands on the hills of Idori, not as the boy who struggled, but as the man who overcame. And his life continues to be a testimony that challenges are not the end, but the pathway to greatness.
Much. My name is Pastor Remy David. I actually thank God for all that I've been facing from beginning of my life, and from beginning when I was around 8 years, around to 8, 9, between 8 and 9 years, one of my uncle came around. He used to live in Jos Plateau State then, and back then, so he talked to my father so that I can follow him to Jos, Plateau State, which they all agreed, and I followed him. So when I got there, he was a contractor, so I was engaged, in that work which he was doing. So from there, I grew up to the stage about 20 years. I spent about 15 years in the north with my uncle. So from there, there was a time that this issue of medicine came up, and then that resulted to we relocating from that place back to Ondo State. So when I got to Ondo State with my uncle, I moved to my father's town, Idori, where I enrolled in my school. Then I enrolled in a school. So from primary to secondary school. Then after some time, I decided to say, okay, it's like I have to go and look for something that I'll be doing for myself, to keep me going. So I later moved to Akure. I think that was around 1990. Yes, I moved to Akure 1992, 1991. But that period of which I came back from Jos to my father town, I was engaged in petrol business. But in the process of me, when I got the job, after some time, when I got the filling station job now in Akure, I think after like maybe 6 months or 7 months, the lady I came with from Idori, that we were planning to be, maybe we can get married to each other, and a lot of some things happened whereby separated all of us, separated the two of us. So after I lost the work with Adabo, I started seeing what I can do again as a young growing young man. From there, I now began to see how I can get another thing. So I traveled to Lagos. That was around 1999. 1998, 99. I traveled to Lagos. From there, I met my wife, which we eventually got married together. From there, 1999. From there, we got married finally. So from there, no job. I was left alone, trying to see what I can, put on the table for myself and the wife I got married to. Things were so hard, so difficult. But I kept hoping to God, praying to see how God can, after some years. But at that moment, I have been seeing the sign of God, the sign of me becoming a minister of God. You understand? Many times I will see myself in the dream, seeing Baba Adeboye teaching me Bible under a big tree, telling me things to do, not to do. Sometimes, so by that time, I have been having this feeling within me that something is inside of me that is yet to manifest. I will pray at night, sometimes, even in the bank, while I was working in the bank. By the time some people will do a little things, a little offense that otherwise supposed to have, overlook. If I committed, even what is not up to that offense, they will have to give me memo. Before you know, you begin suspicion. All those things. So when I go to church, when I go to mountain to fast, people I don't know before who are prophet or prophetess, some of them are even the owner of the mountain and church. They will just walk to me where I was, sitting alone praying. They will just say, Baba, God is about to use you. You end up being a man of God. I say, I don't have anything. Me that is coming here with slippers. What do I have to attract this kind of people coming to me and be greeting me as if I am here with a big car or with an entourage? Perhaps maybe they want to get something from me. So those things was kind of giving me some courage, and I kept pushing it on. I already established football center at Osrc. You understand? Where they show ball. Before the incident happened, I was already having a football center. Then I also tried to, to develop myself again. So I already into Open University at Idori Road. So I was around 100 to 200 level precisely. Because of no job again to continue with, so I had to face that my football center. During the football center, there is a guy who helped me to run the business while I'm not around working sometimes in the bank. So from there I faced myself. I have to face the football, the viewing center by myself, since I have nowhere to go again. So, but when I was there, one thing that kept coming to me is to be hearing the voice, pray. Something good is about to come. Pray. You have to pray. So anytime I sleep, God will just, I will just be seeing some things that is so supernatural to me in my dream, that even sometimes I will find it difficult to share this dream with anybody. So the challenges there were so tough. Nothing. Sometimes I will have to go to football and show, but I won't have money to subscribe. Then it's not all the issue of all. We used to have all this strong. They call it strong. It's all this way to show ball. So sometimes if you don't have money to subscribe through DSTV, you have to go for strong, put some channel together and begin to watch football. But it was so tough. Sometimes I would have collected, viewing money, viewing from people. Customers will have already on the on the, I mean, watching the television will just go off. It will just go off. So they will get annoyed and begin to say, I should turn their money, all those things. Generator will just pack off. So it was so tough. So when it was time like that, up till October 31st, I could not raise money to continue my rent. So the landlord have to tell me that, look, he's not giving me any extra day, that he need to, give his house to somebody who can pay him. I say, sorry sir, just give us some time, because the man has like two wife or three wives. So at the end of the day, I have to pack off the place. That same day, I don't even have money to pay for those who can help me pack. So that my viewing center, are you getting me? That my viewing center, it was that my viewing center, I begged somebody who helped me to pack with his diner. I didn't give him dime. He even did it for me free, because I explained everything to him. So he helped me to pack all the load from that my house to my viewing center. You understand? Because no house to pack to. So my wife and my children, they were squatting in one of our friend place, while me have to be sleeping inside that viewing center because no house to go. Rain will come, a lot of things happen there. Sometimes we have to sleep on bench, with the bench I'm using to show ball now, because no house to go. There was a time early in the morning when I was trying to open the door, because I used to use rope to tie the door of that viewing center inside, so that nobody can just open. Before you know, the cutlass I was trying to open cut off my hand, and blood started gushing out. So the condition was so tough then, but I kept praying. So what happened? So somebody told me I should go and be praying. So later on, I decided to say, okay, I want to move to Rio mountain to go and spend a lot of days. So so that we won't forget, that same viewing center, by the time this man, there was a time, yes, I remember, that same viewing center, around November 2012, because then no money to rent house, Chelsea and Tottenham was to play derby match. You understand? So thank God I've been praying that, God, let me see this one to show, so that I can get money and go and get a place, so that my wife and children will leave my wife's house where she was cutting down the children. So when I showed the ball, thank God, I think it was on Sunday, I was able to raise 4,600 naira. after I showed that ball with between Tottenham and Chelsea, I realized around 4,000 plus also. So I said, okay, let me use this money to go and be looking for a room. So I got a room at Ijoka, Odoko, with one woman, Mama Ikole. She gave me one room. You know, my children don't have that kind of experience before, but they have no choice. So we manage ourselves in that room, one room. There I was, one day in the afternoon, I was left alone in the room because my wife already having some things to do. You know, she has been doing all this salon, hairdressing salon, and all that. So as at that time, I was left. There was a day I was left alone in the room. So I was now hearing this prayer audio in that room, because even that room could not contain the 3-bedroom. So the rest are there left in the in my viewing center. So one day when I was in the room, I was hearing prayer audio, preaching audio of Babadike Olukoya. I said, where is this voice coming out from? And now me that even like to pray, I now get up from the room. I came out. I'm talking of face to face now. From 3-bedroom, 5 years in 3-bedroom, back to a room now. You can imagine that kind of experience. You understand? Even there was a day I will not forget. My daughter then, there was a time she wanted at night. She wanted to ease herself. So she now mistakenly opened the pot. She mistake potty to the soup pot. She was already opened the soup pot. She wanted to ease herself inside. But me, I didn't sleep. I said, that is not the potty. This is soup pot. I now say, this that I want to spoil the what family is depending on when the day is break. So I was, oh my God. So I was praying. So this audio got me up. I was looking for where this voice was coming out from. This is Baba Olukoya preaching. When I got there, it was one primary school where Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministry, they call it tent maker ministry. Is a new something in that environment at Odoko. So with one of their member who is in Lagos that has school in that place that gave them that place to start church from. So the voice took me there immediately. That audio voice took me to the school. So when I opened the small gate of that school compound, the man that is Pastor Adedoyi is the one that was sent to Akure to go and start that tent maker pastoral ministry. So he puts audio and does 2 speakers so that could attract people. So that was what attracted me also. So when I opened the gate to even peep, is this a crusade? Is this place for me? When I saw nobody, I closed the gate. And then I wanted to go back. Pastor Adedoyi now called me, come. So anyway, later I that was what made me to, when the challenges of that church started, that was what made me to sell up my viewing center and put part of the money inside that church so that we can grow. From there I started praying. So I went to mountain, I prayed to God, and God now finally got that call. You understand? When I went for about 9 days fasting and prayer, dry fasting. So that is how my ministry started, from that area mountain. So thank God today, by the grace of God, I've been able to, houses, church. God has given me a lot of things. I appreciate God for taking me this far. So the challenges have been, it was so tough, but at the end of the day, I was able to have good testimony at the end of the challenges. Thank you so much. My educational background is has been so tough too, because I started my primary education while in Idori. When I left Idori, around up to 9 years, as I said, when I got to Jos, because I was living with my uncle, no education, to some extent, because I was so in a situation whereby the education could not continue. Though they put me in a school, but that school was not that effective then in Jos. So after a while, the wife to my uncle who took me to Jos, the only thing that I was engaged with was either to follow my uncle to where he's doing work because he was a contractor, or me hawking egg and mineral. So that opportunity to school was not actually there. But when I got back here, then my dad had to put me in school. But when I was to be promoted to JSS3, you understand, I failed. My age then was I think I was around 18, 19 to 20 years then. So after that, it was because of my inability to get promoted that makes me tell my father that I want to go for another opportunity. So you understand. So but I got my school cert finally at Ogbe High School in Akure here. Then I also got my degree at Open University. Thank God for everything. God has helped me, and I believe He's still helping me. So as I said, I have a child who is already. I have a graduate I have a graduate, one of my children, and I also have a child now who is 400 level. Then by the grace of God, God bless me with 3 children, and the last child of mine now is also in 200 level. So already I got one graduate. Then house, some piece of some landed property that God has been able to bless me with, cars. Then church projects, ongoing church members, all those things. God is helping me. So I might not be able to exactly mention the figure number of members, but I thank God that God is helping me in all areas. So it was so tough, it has been so difficult, but with faith, perseverance, prayer, and faith, God has been so faithful to me, and I got it done to the glory of God. My advice to people watching me at home or any part of the world wherever they may be watching me is to tell you that challenges have to come. Even the Bible says that in the world we will see challenges, but behold, I've overcome. So for us to be able to behold, for us to be able to wait, definitely we see the end of that challenges, since we believe in God and hold on to God. Even sometimes God have to allow challenges to come so that we can know how mighty He is, and how glorious He is, and how gracious He is to us. So I want to advise people who are facing one challenges or the other, sooner than later, you too will have super testimony, because at the end of every tenor, there's always light. So I believe that we'll get over every challenges. To God be the glory.
I know you've gained a lot of lesson on today's edition of Testimony Time on Osrc television. But just before I go, let me leave you with these: challenges are not obstacles meant to break us, but stepping stones that shape our strength and reveal our true potential. Next week is another edition. I remain my humble self, Adenike. Alright. Bye for now.